in terms of how the ITC has helped in line with that sort of film, and then looking more at the two questions that we've been asked to focus on, that is expansion and replication, and bearing in mind the 4 points that we mentioned at the beginning.
Rwanda, with Patchouli, we're at the pilot phase and we're just going to expansion. So we proved the principle, we've got the distillation unit set up, we've got the planting material, and now we're about to expand that production to commercial levels. And the business there has two production sites. At each site there's a formal cooperative, and there's about 450 members in each cooperative. In terms of the sustainability of these projects, I would always argue that the heart of it is a commercial business. And all the operations that I've been involved with, there is a commercial entity at the heart, and then there is some relationship between them and the producers. So in Rwanda it's a commercial enterprise called EPSHA. Pilot developments, what have we got to have to go from a pilot development to either expand or replicate? So we said about the market opportunity, and that has to be defined at the pilot stage, but also the business structure.
In Nigeria, the structures are there for an organization like ITC to come and assist. Like we have farming communities, we produce a lot of crops, just like they are saying that gum arabic, sesame, garlic, and a whole lot of products, and this is community based. So what is happening in Nigeria is that all these things do not reflect poverty reduction, but it's a private sector driven. So the question I want to ask is that how far has the ITC gone? Is there any project in Nigeria right now?
The Paprika project needs to be expanded to a bigger size of beneficiaries to reach what Steve mentioned in terms of going to a higher level than 200 tons to be sold, in containers in an economic way, while at the same time measures would be put forward in order to take this model that Steve again mentioned and use it for the other, some of these 23 other priority crops, and see how it moves on progressively.
At the moment, what I would advise is expansion is good in certain areas, but after expanding it to certain 4 areas, then you would think of replication of, say, ginger, turmeric, for instance. I wouldn't put all the eggs in one basket. So the government has to make sure there is capacity. As far as Ethiopia, they have a tradition for production of spices, so you don't have to teach them. The only thing is what you need is, you mentioned SPS. SPS is one thing which comes later, but these are the things which you look at. Spices, for example, there are, and because there is a confusion of spices and essential oils, or patchouli was mentioned. So I look at 2 industries. One is the food, which is the flavor, and the fragrance, which is the perfume industry. So 2 things are totally different. Sometimes there is a combination of 2 are used also. So in terms of paprika, you have competition from other countries. Mention was made, Steve was clear in saying that Zimbabwe was in trouble. Now the production goes around the world. When there was trouble in Hungary and in Ethiopia, the other people were Morocco. Now you have got Peru producing more than nearly 30,000, some even put it 40,000 tons coming into all ending in Murcia. I met with those people in Peru. I mean, they didn't even know where it's going and what they use. But to tell you, there has been shift in the production in the world. When they had gone from 0 to 20,000 tons, that explained there's a market. So the market is there for paprika. I wouldn't say the same thing is for vanilla.
I feel that you are asking about finance, about decision making. Who does that? I think, and I'm going to take a bit of a nasty example, I have many years experience in the tobacco industry. And give you a little example, in Brazil there are 240,000 tobacco growers just in the south of the country. There are another 200,000 in the north of the country. And they're all small farmers. They all produce 2,000 kilos of tobacco, if that. They're very small. But we forget, I think, we are forgetting the role of the merchant. The merchant is a very important person. We all think, yeah, he's sucking money out of those poor farmers. We all have that little bit idea. But the merchant is the guy who knows the market. He researches the market. And under the unpopular tobacco system, I agree with you, it's a very unpopular product to bring up to the table. But systematically, it's the merchant who looks where the market is,